Morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for inviting me here this morning, and thank you especially to Miss Deb. Deb was one of the very first people I met when I came to Yakima, and coming to Yakima has been a treat all the way around because of the wonderful wine that they have in Yakima, which I would like to present to Miss Deb. Thank you very much. This is Mercantile Red from Piety Flats. She's no longer there, but thank you very much. Thank you very much. There is a method to that madness, of course. Not only did I want to thank Deb for having me here, but that in itself was, shy of about 15 seconds, a commercial. That was something we do on TV. Let me give you a little bit of background on why we wanted to go with television. Television is a medium that can grasp and pull in everyone that it goes to. Okay, everybody watches TV, if we admit it or not. We still do. We catch it as we go by a store, catch it as we stop by a family members or something and they have it blaring in the background. When I came to the Ponderosa, it didn't have the best of reputations, and we wanted to get the word out quickly that things had changed. Your basic under new management sign was not going to work. And so we wanted to catch something that would put it out there. I had had a brief time of working in both television and radio, and I really liked both of them. I don't have any problem standing in front of people. I don't have any problem talking to people. It's just something that I kind of get a kick out of. So I had to sell it to our corporate office, of course. And television is not cheap, and it's not something that you can make a short commitment to. If you're going to do television commercials, you have to say, I'm going to be in this for the duration. 6 months is not going to make a difference. A year, maybe. 2 years, possibly. 3 years, yes. The longer you make your commitment to television, the more your product is going to be out there. Think about it. You don't ask someone for a tissue, you ask them for a Kleenex. You don't say, I want a cola, you say, can I have a Coke? That's because of the time, the commitment that those companies have put to being out there in television land, okay? Once we decided that we were going to commit to the time and the money, we had to get creative, and we had to think, what is it that we were selling? Was it a place? Was it the Ponderosa? Was it an idea? Old people are fun too. Was it a concept? We had to get past some negatives. Negatives of a home. Yes, we're going to put you in the home. Not good. The people that we were marketing to think of it as the home. We had to get past that. Truthfully, our industry is not something that people have warm fuzzies about. That's not something that's fun. There's not a person in my Ponderosa that said, when I grow up, I want to go into an assisted living. That doesn't happen at all. So where do we go from there? We had to know our audience. We had to know who we were selling to. Who do we want to sell to? That's a little bit different. Did we want Yakima's upper echelon? No, we're not that kind of building. We were built in 1972. We have some rough edges. We're not glamour and glitz. We wanted the salt of the earth. We wanted Yakima people that have been here for a long time. Now, with that said, we also had to realize that we're not just selling or marketing to the people we want to come in. We have to market to their children. They're often the ones that are going to be making this decision, or else helping them to make the decision. So you have two real different audiences here. You have these that say, I'm not going. These that say, yes, you are. And you've got to bring the two of them together. A little bit difficult. What happens then also is that the child, someone my age usually, will walk in and say, oh, man, look at this glitz and glamour. This is fabulous. This is, oh, I want mom to do this. This is the best. And mom walks in and says, I've never stayed in a hotel this fancy. This isn't what I want. That's not So you kind of have to combine the two. So with that said, we had to decide what we wanted to portray. We looked back, and a lot of the commercials for senior living were the couples, the music, maybe a grandchild or two. Boring, boring. Number one, a lot of the people that are moving in are no longer couples. So that's not really something we wanted to market to. Number two, perhaps they hate children. And you want to make sure you have grandchildren running around. Not. Or perhaps family isn't even involved. So you have this. So what are we going to sell? We're going to sell a concept. We're going to sell a concept to the children that's peace of mind. They don't have to worry. Mom and dad, or mom or dad, or stepmom, or the neighbor, whoever they're placing with us, is well taken care of. The burden is off them. For the person coming in, you're amongst your peers, baby, let's have some fun. And that's the thing. What we have discovered is our seniors are no different than we are whatsoever. They just have a little bit older skin. They still tease, they still laugh, they still have sex, they still want to go out on dates, they still drink, they still do everything. We have to cater to that. We have to make them know that we know that. That's where our commercials come in. I work with some very creative people. That's one of the reasons I hire who I do. If they're fun, if they're creative, if they have a great sense of humor. Or perhaps I should say if they have a warped sense of humor like mine. Some of our best commercials have come over many a bottle of wine when we have said, oh my God, that's going to be so good. And it usually is. We've had a few flops, but it usually is. When we have a concept or a brand, here again, this is what you have to keep bringing into the commercial over and over and over again. We kind of needed to go with something that wasn't, as I said earlier, the lovely older couple and the grandchild and the quiet music. But we had to have something that had consistency. Had to have something that over and over and over again spoke of the same thing. When we first started, if some of you will remember, our tagline was, "Not at my Ponderosa." And that was way back when kind of the idea of the way the Ponderosa had been was not the best. And so what we wanted to get out was that with me coming in, there was a change. When we began to use our new tagline several years ago, we're not what you expect, we still needed to keep the consistency of me. So if you'll notice, excuse me, I am in all the commercials. Yeah, I like that, I have to admit, that's kind of fun. Pick me. I was always the 5th grader that said, you know, very annoying. But that has been one of the constants at the movie theaters. When you see our screen up there, I'm there. In our commercials, no matter what the commercial is about, there's still at least a glimpse of me. When you think about some of the longest running commercials, you realize that they do have something that is consistent. I always think of Sam Elliott, his voice in the different car commercials. I'd buy a car from him anyway, just from his, you know, he doesn't even have to talk, but because he is talking, we know, we hear that voice. Other commercials, you have the little ditty at the beginning, the different, perhaps the Burger King commercials or the McDonald's commercials or things like that. You hear that, you know which commercial is on. You hear at the end of ours, of course, we're not what you expect. Plus, you see me, you know even if the audio isn't on, you're going to see me. You know what the commercial is. If you hear it and you don't see it, but you hear we're not what you expect, you know what the commercial is. I had a bit of flack from, we're owned by a single entity, and I adore the man. He gets me, and that's what's fun. And so for 99.9% of the time, he trusts where I'm going with things. But with our tagline of we're not I can't even say it, we're not what you expect, he said, oh no, you need to have something else. What do you mean? Well, you need to say, we're so much more. Ugh. Well, what if we're not what you expect is bad smells and people crying over here in the hallway. We're so much more. We have lots of people crying in the hallway, and the buzzer goes off all the time. So I had kind of a difficult time explaining that to him, is that people, we wanted to leave it open. We're not what you expect. What is it that you do expect? Don't know. Don't know. Come in. If we say we're so much more what? So he finally got it. Okay. Whew. That was easy, right? We haven't even started filming yet. This is when it gets tough. You think that it's just going to be this fun thing, and all of our residents, for the most part, there's very few. I will take that back. There is one person who has come into our Ponderosa and has said, I do not want my father in your commercials. I don't like them. Which surprised me, because if you don't like our commercials, why are you there? Because our commercials are who we are. But I guess we're so much more. I don't know. So anyway, so we had to, we've decided on what our tagline's going to be. We've decided on who the main person's going to be in all of them. We decided that we're going to sell this type of emotion to the children, and this type of an emotion to the adults. The children are adults too, but the really old adults. We've decided all that. Now we incorporate it. And as I've said before, a lot of times it's been over copious amounts of wine that we've come up with some really good ideas, or really bad ideas, one or the other. Now we film. One of the great things about Yakima and the size of it is that our commercials are going to reach the people that we want just with the time that they're in it. We don't have to flood the market on KIMA and KNDO and all the different ones. We can go ahead and just go with one channel. We can go with KNDO. We're going to reach a lot of people. We have to know, however, what programs our commercials should be involved with. What do our seniors watch? What do their children watch? That's when a good rep comes in very handy, and we've had some great reps from KNDO. We're very happy with that. That's a kind of a little plug for them. But they do a good job. They take very good care of us. They're the ones that put us in with Jeopardy, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Wheel of Fortune. Those are the shows that our moms and dads are watching. Of course, I'm discovering that I'm watching them more now too, so I don't know. But also with this, because we've been with KNDO for so long, we have a special package deal. And if they have X amount of commercial space that they have not sold, we get first dibs on that for the same price that we have. So there have been times when we've been in the middle of a football game, one of the NFL games. We were actually featured during the Olympic time. So there's some real pluses there, here again, with the time and commitment. You stay with something for long enough, you stay with the company for long enough, you're going to have some benefits. So that's been a real plus. You know we're going to be on during Jeopardy, and that's really great. But when you have someone say, hey, you were on during the Olympics. Oh, what did I do? Oh, that, yes, okay. So you kind of, your mind doesn't go with it every once in a while. I digress, but it is kind of interesting when people will say, I know you. Yes, I'm on TV. No, you're that. Oh, you knew me otherwise. Okay, never mind. So anyway, back to where we were. What part of our other tagline is we always have a particular resident that we use. We had Buck for a while there, Buck, and we were going fishing and this kind of stuff. We have to be very careful with that because our residents are transient. They won't be with us all the time. And so we have to make sure that we don't go into any sort of a memorial situation, or we decided a long time ago we're not going to have at the end of commercial in memory of. We're not going to do that. That's not what we're about. We don't help people die. We help people live. We're assisted living. When it comes time, we do go into the next spots, things like that, but that's a whole other concept. That's a whole other topic. But we had to be careful. So right now, what we're doing is we have our winker, you know, and Don's a hoot. But to get him to wink on time, on schedule, all you're doing is winking. That's it. That's where the fun comes in. And that's where my next step is filming the commercial itself. We never have a lack of people who want to participate. So that's always fun. But they don't always want to participate a second time because it's boring. It's tedious. It's time consuming. They will have to stand for long periods of time, which a lot of them cannot. They may come down and think they're going to be in this great commercial only to discover that, ooh, sorry, we didn't need that part. Or we filmed them and then Brian, our putter together, for lack of a better word, had to cut that part. So it's difficult. It's very difficult. But when they do come down and they are in it, I have to say we do have fun. We do have fun. And they get it. They totally get it. We start by saying, this is kind of what we're doing. We just are kind of, yeah, okay, we're all going to be on the bus and some of us are going to be dressed up, and they look at us like, okay, we're nuts, but here we go and I want to be there. Or we're all going out to the winery and we are going to have wine. We did get a little flack for that one. I have to. We have gotten flack on a couple of our commercials, but I like that because it shows people are watching. So I don't mind that a bit. Digressing again. All in all, we have the people that are there. We have the filming. This last commercial that we did, although it only took 2 people in the commercial itself, we had a couple of asides, but that took 3 hours to film. That's a long time. It's a long time to have to sit, have to go over lines, and you're working with people who are in their 80s and 90s. They don't have the memory, perhaps. Here again with the wink. Dawn, this is the same thing that you've done all the time. Walk down the bus steps and wink. Sit with me and wink. Stand over there and wink. No, you don't do that stuff. So it does it gets a little crazy, but it is still fun. And I think what I want to leave you with is that it may sound a little daunting, it may sound a little crazy, it may sound a little, do we really want to do this? I think that reaching people via commercial is the most effective way of advertising that there is, because we're showing our honesty. We're showing who we truly are. You can snow people. You can say, nah, I mean, you've seen that in politics with those commercials. We wanted something real. I think that's what we got. I think we created this little time, this little 30 seconds that shows that we do have fun, we are a good place, we do care, and seniors are a riot. And we're not what you expect. Anybody have any questions? Kara. When residents first come in, we have them sign a release form that says, yes, I want to be in the commercials, I release anything, you know, I don't expect to be paid for it. And we have had this happen, we've just filmed something, just filmed it, it hasn't even come out yet. One of the residents passes away. We call the family and say, your father was in this commercial, we haven't had it on TV yet, would you like us to proceed or do you want us to pull it? And we have yet to have them say pull it. With us too, we go back in time. Some of the commercials that we show, the one that we had on just recently with our winter fun, which we actually got some flack with too. It has the caregiver duct tape and everything. We had a lady call up and say, I'm trying to teach my children nonviolence and you have this caregiver all duct taped and everything like that. I said, it was awful. It was terrible. She was frightened. These old people all around her. Terrible. I'm kind of vicious like that. But I would say that there are maybe 2 out of that entire commercial that are still with us. The families will call and say, thank you so much. We just saw that. Thank you. And we always give whoever is in the commercial, we always make sure we give their immediate family members a CD of the commercial too, so that way they always have it. So, Deb?
The only people still alive is the caretaker.
Yeah, she is. She's still with us, and she. Yeah, well, it was so funny. We had that commercial that we got a little flack from. We had the wine commercial, and what was really funny about that is one of our residents who I just adored this person. I just adored this person. Got quite tipsy. I mean, well, in fact, he didn't get quite tipsy. He was drunk, and we're still doing this commercial, and we look back at that, and we're just laughing because we're realizing that. And so we did get a little flack about that. Not that people knew that he was drunk, but the fact that we were drinking. Old people don't drink. Well, hell, of course they don't. Heaven's sakes. Put that wine away, Deb, because we don't want that for later. So, and then we also got flack on one that it was the state of the Ponderosa, and it was very serious. And then of course they filmed us, and we all had the big red noses on. But the only flack we got is I had somebody call and say, "Who did your hair? You look like hell." Hello. So, but they're watching it. That's what that means. They're watching it. Yes, ma'am. Always. It's fun because we have people that come in that say, "I saw your commercial, I want to live here," or "I saw your commercial, I want to work here." You know, so our doing what we do with our commercials is the best spent marketing money that we can have. I mean, it really is. It's just fun. And like I said, we have the one gal who said, "Don't put my father in your commercials. I don't like them." Very odd. Yes, sir.
I am so very fortunate. I had to put my mother and sister living 15 years ago. Have you found is there a way that you can bridge that gap between young and old? Mother does it, you're going to put me in a nursing home, and son saying, "You need to go."
It's very tough. It's very tough. And you know, and if you ever wanted a topic on that, I'd be happy to come and speak on that. That's the hardest thing. It is the hardest thing, because oftentimes we as children do know what our parents need, and our parents, by God, know they've lived in this house. So they're not going to die there, they're going to die in the house. Well, they do have that right. But we also have learned that 99% of the time, once they're there, I wish I would have done this earlier, this is great. I kind of compare it to when you take your child to kindergarten, and you take them, and God, they're on your leg, and you're like this, and you're putting them in the door, and they're crying, and it's horrible, and it's awful, and the second you leave, oh, they're there, and they're having a good time. But when you come back, oh man, it was awful, it was terrible. And that's kind of what it is. It's just those situations. So, but it's a very, very difficult. I just had to be a part of my mom's decision to put my father in an assisted living, and I run an assisted living, and it was very, very difficult. Very difficult. Yeah. Which is, I mean, it's been good because it's made me look at things a lot differently. So, anyone else? Sure.
I've never seen the commercial, but I think you deserve everything that you get here when you're talking about couples and you're talking about children and other advertising and the CDs. And I just think that all that thought that went into what you're going to put out there and what you should put out there, I think that whatever you get, you deserve it.
Thank you. That's a big part of it too. Is that what I have learned, and perhaps it came to me, my boyfriend. That sounds really weird. My man friend. I don't know. We have a '67 Mustang, and we took it over to the Ponderosa one time, and there were a couple ladies there, and they said, "Oh, that was our dream car when we were your age," and that's when the light kind of went on for me, and I thought, "Oh, okay. Well, my dream car right now is, I don't know, some 2014 something. Well, this 1967 was their dream car." And all of a sudden it was kind of one of those, I don't know, time warp situations that you just get thrown back and you realize they're just us. They're just us. So if you don't like kids, or if you don't want to walk hand in hand with your partner or whatever like that, if you want to go shake it up on a bus or go drink, that's what we're trying to convey, is that they're still up here. It's so true. You look in the mirror and you think, "Oh shit, what happened?" And so thank you for that, because that is what we're trying to convey, is a totally, you are still young. come live with us. We'll take the burden off you, but we'll still have a good time. So thank you. Anything else? Wow, I made it to the yellow. Ah! No critiquing. I dance around too much.
For about 20 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I enjoyed that.
Deborah's.
Oh, anytime.
Lori's gonna leave now.
Oh.
Sorry, sneaking out. Thank you so much. That was just fabulous. I really enjoyed that.
You could bring your winker back, and he could stand up here and just go back and forth.
You know, and I'll share this with you. My grandfather was a huge, huge part of my life. I think that's why I like this business so much. And as was my uncle. And as they got older, I just realized that they still have the same thoughts as they did when they were 20. I mean, it just doesn't go away. So I have several dirty old men, is what I call them, and I do, to their face. It's like, oh, you're just, and they love it. Well, of course we are, you know? I mean, what has changed? We used to be dirty young men, now we're dirty old men. And then, of course, you have the church pew ladies, the old Mrs. Cratchit, you know? So you do. It's kind of like running a little, I'm the mayor.
Sitcom.
Yeah, it is. It's a dramedy. I really do wish that they would put something like this on TV, because it has all the aspects of everything. It has tragedy. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. Brief story, then I'll be on my way. Little gal came in who suffered from dementia, and the whole thing behind dementia is you step into their reality. You do not reinforce reality at all. You step into theirs. Well, she came in, and she was very distraught. She'd lost her purse. Well, okay, when did you last see it? Oh my gosh, what does it look like? Everything. When did you last see it? It was on the seat of my car. Okay, and then she goes, oh, somebody stole my car. She hadn't driven for years and years. So, it was like, but at the time, I pick up the phone, I pretend to call the police, a stolen vehicle incident, this type of thing. We'll take care of it. This is great. You're not on that way. But totally needs to be on TV. We could have the best time.
You know what, Lori, maybe 6 months from now, the show right after Duck Dynasty will be Ponderosa.
There we go. Da, da, da.
It's just a living trust.
Reality TV.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much. Have a great day.
Deborah, thanks for inviting her. That was great. Well, we won't have an evaluation.